So now, guys, it's time to put the top end on the YZ125/144. I got the dowel pins ready to go here. Super stoked. So if you're just now joining us for the YZ144 build series, we have done everything from tear the whole motor down. We put main bearings in it. We put tranny bearings in it. We put the crank in it. We put it all back together. Bottom end's all ready to go. Clutches in it. Those are all separate videos, so make sure you check those out. Now we're going to be putting the top end on it. So join me as we build the top end of a YZ144. All right, so let's start with the fact that we are running an Athena piston and Athena gaskets, which if you've watched this channel long, you know that I really like Vertex pistons and stuff. Well, Athena gaskets, but whatever. I'm a big Vertex fan, but this is an Athena big bore kit, and the Athena piston is the only one that exists for it. And it's kind of a special deal because it's only from 97 to 04. After that, it takes a different gasket, different piston, everything for the 144 kit. So I'm not sure exactly what's different between 04 and forward. This is an 02, but these are really hard to get. It took a few months to get these things, and I think they came directly from Italy. So yeah, I've already prepped the cylinder. Did run the diamond ball hone through it and put the crosshatch back in it, so it's all happy. So the power valve's ready. That's all in another video. So everything's ready to go. Just have to, we're going to start with, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is spray a little bit of two-stroke oil down in here, because I'm not going to be putting this motor into the frame for a little while. It's actually going to sit for a little while I get the suspension done and the linkage bearings and the other chassis bearings and all that. So it's not going to actually run for a little bit, so I don't want it to rust or anything like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of two-stroke oil down in the bottom end. Then we're going to get this thing out, and I'll show you how we check the ring end gap and all that stuff. Yes. Like a caveman. Ooh, shiny, shiny. So, like most of these kind of race style things, this is a single ring setup. Also, like most rings, it's got a mark right there. You can see it right there, and that mark always goes up. So let's take it. Check-in gap. I've shown this a few times. I like to put the ring in there, and then I take the piston and kind of make it so it squares it up. And we're going to check that gap. And for this bore, I'd like to see like probably 7 or 8 thousandths. So we'll take 7 thou, feeler gauge. Fits good. So end gap is good. Now, for all two-stroke top ends, you'll see there's that pin. That's a locator pin for the ring end gap. You absolutely have to have the rings right there when you slide the cylinder on. So that's good. I like to put one of the clips in first before I put it on the connecting rod. And one tech tip on doing this is to take the pin, put it in first, get in here close to the groove for the clip, and then we're going to take the clip. Now, here's a little thing, a little something. These clips, they either need to have the opening up or the opening down, like that. The reason is, as this piston's going up and down, if the force is on it, if it's sideways like this, the forces can be so much that it can actually squeeze that C, or squeeze that gap down in and come out. So you always want it up or down. So this one, because the little groove for mounting is up, we'll put it up. This basically minimizes the chance of things flying into the case. So just Alright. There is one. Get our top end bearing. We're going to put its home on the connecting rod. After we put a little bit of two-stroke oil on it. A little bit of two-stroke oil on that guy also. I'm going to take our piston arrow going towards exhaust. Take our towel, cover up our hole so that if we lose this clip, it doesn't go in there. Now, it could still fly across the shop and land who knows where, but at least it won't be inside the motor. Now, let's get our base gasket out. It's interesting, it comes with a metal one. I'm going to go with that. I think that looks burly. It comes with a paper one too, but I'm going to go with the metal one. I'll get that on there. I'm going to take some of that two-stroke oil, run it around on the cylinder. That looks good. Now we'll just take our fingers, squeeze this down. This is so much easier when the motor's out of the bike. But boom, just like that. Looks awesome. Just nothing better looking than a fresh motor. These guys like to run this style gasket. There we go. Go grab our cylinder head. Alright, got our cylinder head all cleaned up. Looking nice. Alright, take our washers. Now, first we got to tighten down our base nuts. And do this in a crisscross pattern. Not worried about torque, spec. Just want them nice and tight. And one of the reasons I don't worry about the torque spec on these is because it's a steel nut on a steel stud, and you would be hard pressed to strip it, and having it nice and tight doesn't hurt anything. So, boom, there we go. Now, our acorn nuts for the head. These ones get the classic German torque of Guten tight. So, get them nice and tight. Crisscross. Alright, we're almost there. Just got to hook up the power valve. Take this spacer. It's going to go on first. And then this guy. And sometimes you got to preload it a little bit. Put a little bit of red Loctite on this guy. It's actually kind of nice to, when you're tightening this thing down, it's good because you can make sure everything's moving nice and smooth in the power valve. This one's an easy one to strip. I don't know what the torque spec is, but it's also just a tiny little M6 bolt, so you don't have to go crazy. Got our power valve cover that I did not get clean yet, so I'm going to go clean that thing actually. Then I'll be right back. Alright guys, we've got the power valve cover all cleaned up, looking good. So power valve covers on every bike, every two-stroke bike, tend to leak. That is just sort of the nature of a power valve cover. And all it is a little bit of spooge and maybe training oil coming out. It's not a huge deal, but it makes a mess. So I like to try to keep them clean if I can. One of the tricks I like to use is to seal this funky little gasket onto the cover and onto here with some gray stuff. So I like to take some of this 3-bond 1184. What up, Bebo? We're gonna run just a little bit. Freaking brand new crank, tranny bearings, piston.
Yeah, is that the one that you said the tranny bearings didn't come with?
All right, guys. So we got the gasket on there, and this gasket has a peel and stick, so it sticks to the gasket cover. And we got the 3-bond 1184 in here. So now we're gonna.
That looks like fun.
Well, right on, folks. It got the 125 slash 144 motor all done. Super stoked. Everything's perfect. We're ready to rock and roll. But now I got to store it for a little while I'm waiting on a couple other things. But when you store these things, guys, definitely take a rag, put it in the holes that might, you know, get something accidentally in them. Even just the dust is not good. So I'm going to take it, put it on the shelf over there. The next thing we're doing is taking the suspension to Brady at TBT, so really happy about that. I hope you guys like that video on building the top end. It's really simple. It's one of the things I love about two-strokes. It's just simple, easy, and it's just satisfying. I like building two-stroke motors. It's a lot of fun. I like building all motors, actually, but two-strokes are just near and dear to my heart.